Hi dear Libras, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits that we have in the month of August. So it looks like we're gonna have quite a busy month ahead of us. We have two full moons, which is rare. Normally we have only one full moon per month, but this time we have two, like one in the very beginning and one at the very end, and we have a new moon somewhere in the middle. And another thing is, in August, your ruling planet Venus is retrograde the entire month. Yeah, so it's an important period for you Libras. Um, Now, I'm gonna start talking about like the major transits first, the outer planets, and then I'm sort of gonna narrow it down to like the more personal planets. Okay. So recently, the biggest shift that happened is the nodes changed signs, and so the North Node entered Aries and the South Node entered Libra. So this happens once every 18 years. So this is an important period for Libras. And the thing is, as soon as the nodes entered Aries and Libra, they started making a square to Pluto. Yeah, so Pluto is in your fourth house, and so fourth house is a family, right? Pluto has been in there for like 15 years. Yeah, so you are used to that energy. But like the thing is, Pluto is in the 29th degree. It's a very critical degree. So something is critical at this period. Have you noticed that like there is this like lots of tension in the world? Like a lot of people are like acting as if they're walking on needles. Yeah, it's because of that Pluto in the 29th degree, and also the nodes. This is a tense time. Yeah, I mean it's not too bad. It's causing like major transformations in our lives. Yeah, but on a good note is Libras. A lot of Libras are gonna get married in the next year and a half. So next, Neptune has been in your sixth house for 12 years now. Yeah, so Libras, how's your health? How is your routine? Do you feel like you've been creative, more creative in the past 12 years? I mean, it's a long time, but anyway. So you still have two more years, yeah, of Neptune in your sixth house, and then it's gonna enter your relationship house. Yeah. Next, Uranus. Uranus has been shaking things up in your eighth house. Libras, have you had like sudden like expenses, like like out of nowhere you need to pay for this, out of nowhere now you have to get a loan for this, like Uranus in the 8th house can do that. Yeah. Another interpretation of this is that your partner's finances are unstable because Uranus is like switch. Okay, surprises all the time. Yeah, and it must have been exhausting because I have Virgo rising and I had Uranus in my 8th house like in the previous decade. Yeah, and it was exhausting. So Libras, hang in there, 2 more years of that instability, and then it's gonna finally leave your 8th house. But for now, you also have Jupiter in there, okay, until next May. And Jupiter is good for finances actually. So remember how I mentioned Uranus gives instability, but Jupiter is giving like a bit of a break. It's giving you luck in that area. So yeah. Next, Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. It's in your sixth house. So Libras, the next 2 years are good times to like pay attention to your health. Maybe find a good exercise routine. Maybe like find the diet that suits you. Yeah, it's a time when you really think and focus on your health matters, and also work. Yeah, you'll feel more serious about work, more responsibility, I guess. But it can also be a rewarding time for work. Like as I said, like I have Virgo rising, so when Saturn was in Aquarius, I had Saturn in my sixth house, and it was good for me career-wise. Yeah, I had like a really nice job. So it can mean the same for you, Libras. Next, so now I'm going to start talking about like the inner planet transits. On the very first day of August, we have a full moon in Aquarius on the 9th degree of Aquarius. So those Libras who have your moon around that degree or your rising sign around that degree, then you are going to feel this full moon. But like for other Libras, this full moon is happening in your 5th house. Fifth house is the house of romance. Yeah, and the sun is shining in your friendship house, and the moon is illuminating your fifth house. So, dating, flirting, creative self-expression. What else? Children. Those of you who have children, the focus will be on your children. Your children will have some sort of like achievement or culmination, yeah, fruition, some sort of like they will achieve something. I don't know. Yeah, and so this full moon, the luminaries will be making a T-square to Jupiter on the 13th degree of Taurus. So yeah, like they are making a T-square to your 8th house. And the thing about Jupiter is that it magnifies everything it touches. When it touches something good, it makes it big, but when it touches something bad, it also makes it big. Jupiter doesn't know when to stop. So when it's involved with the full moon, it means like our emotions are gonna be over the top. Yeah, and in this full moon, the luminaries are in like kind of like dramatic signs, Leo and Aquarius. I mean, Leos are definitely dramatic, they admit that, but Aquarius, they claim to be like very detached, but I feel like Aquarius still attract a lot of drama, at least from what I observed. Yeah, and so expect to be like emotionally all over the place at this full moon, and so be patient with yourself and with others, and it's temporary. It's gonna last for like 4 days maximum, plus or minus. Okay. um, Next, on that day also, Mercury and Mars in Virgo will be opposing Saturn in Pisces. That means you can be not only like emotional but also like pessimistic, because Mercury is thoughts, Mars makes our thoughts angry, aggressive, and Saturn in Pisces gives it like a tinge of pessimism. Yeah, so our thoughts will be pessimistic. So watch out for pessimistic thoughts. Keep in mind that this is temporary. This will pass. Yeah, and so after that full moon, we won't have much going on until like August 8th. And the reason why I'm mentioning the August 8th is that it's last quarter moon. The last quarter moon marks the beginning of the week before the new moon. So that means not much is going to happen during that week. It is a good time to wrap things up, finish things up. That started with the new moon in Cancer in July. Okay? Allow yourself to rest, to relax, get energy for the next new moon. Yeah, that's going to happen on August 16th. And so also another thing you can do during that the last quarter moon week is that prepare things for the next new moon. Like I'm gonna give you an example. During the last quarter moon, like I was collecting documents for some important application, and so I collected the documents, I filled out the application, and I mailed them 2 days before the new moon. So by the time the new moon occurred, they received my application. Okay, so does that make sense? That is what you can do during the last quarter moon. Like don't waste energy trying to start things like during that week. It's not a good time. Ideally you should start things like after the new moon. So yeah, on August 13th, we have the conjunction of Sun and Venus on the 20th degree of Leo. So this time Venus is retrograde. That means it's between the Sun and the Earth. That's when it's the closest to the Earth. Normally, when Venus is direct and it conjuncts Sun, it's like on the other side of the Sun. But this time it is right between the Sun and the Earth. So it marks the beginning of a new phase for Venus, and that is important for you Libras, because for the past 9 months Venus was an evening star. We could see her after the sunset in the evening sky, but now she's gonna re-emerge as a morning star. We will be able to see her very early in the morning, right before the sunrise. Yeah, so this new phase is gonna last until like for the next 9 months, and that's when like the conjunction is gonna happen, and then yeah, the next retrograde, whatever. So the reason why I'm mentioning is this conjunction is happening in your 11th house, so some new phase in your friendships. Yeah, a new phase in your friendships, something important, or maybe something that has to do with your goals, because 11th house is also goals, dreams. Yeah, so you might like get a new dream maybe, or like make some adjustments to your dream. Who knows? Okay, so I mentioned that, and so after this Sun and Venus conjunction on August 16th, we have a new moon in Leo on the 23rd degree. So again, this new moon is happening in your house of friendships. So in August, the focus is on your friendships. Um, Venus is still close to this new moon, so that means it's giving like that sweet energy to this new moon. But the thing is, the luminaries will be making a square to Uranus in your like in your eighth house, yeah, and it's a pretty tight square, like it's an exact square on the 23rd degree as well. So this is important. Another thing is the luminaries won't be making like any other aspects, no trines, no sextiles, yeah. And another thing is, on the sky on that day, there will be a kite aspect involving Mercury and Mars in Virgo, and they will be making an opposition to Neptune in Pisces. So there will be in like opposition, opposing forces. But we have Uranus in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn helping out because they are friends with Virgo and Pisces. Yeah, so they will be acting like mediators for those opposing energies, and so it should be interesting to observe. Like Uranus will be giving us surprises during that lunar month, but I think that the conjunction of Venus to the luminaries is gonna keep things sweet. So hopefully it won't be a bad new moon. Next. After that, on August 21st, we have the exact square between Venus retrograde in Leo and Jupiter in Taurus. Have you guys noticed how Taurus is involved throughout this like Venus retrograde? Yeah, so a lot of like issues with self-esteem, self-love, values, finances, because Taurus rules those, and Venus also rules those, and so yeah. And what else? Leo is also like the sign of like self-love. Okay. Now that square between Venus and Jupiter, even though it sounds like negative, but Venus and Jupiter, they are benefics. Even when they're making like a tense aspect, they don't bring like super bad like events. No. So this square might mean that you will overspend, because Venus rules finances and Jupiter makes things big, yeah, and it also makes us overly optimistic. So you might become like overly optimistic about your finances, and in order to feel good during Venus retrograde, you buy lots of new things to feel good. Yeah, like don't splurge though, because Venus retrograde is not a good time to buy new things. Like I mean, new clothes, because Venus rules fashion. Yeah, you're not gonna like those when Venus turns direct. And what else? I guess that's it. And then on August 23rd, the Sun enters Virgo, your 12th house. That means the Sun is gonna be in your 12th house for a month. It's a good time to get your beauty sleep and get ready for your birthday season in late September. Usually when the Sun enters our 12th house, we are tired, because the Sun, when it's in our first house, that's when we are the most like we have the most vitality, right? But when it's in our 12th house, it's like far away from ourselves. Like, so the Sun is exhausted. It's been making that journey like throughout the year. Yeah, so usually we feel very tired. So Libras, allow yourselves to rest when the Sun is in Virgo. Okay, if you can, take a vacation and stuff. Yeah. Now, on the same day that the Sun enters Virgo, Mercury stations retrograde in your 12th house until September 22nd. Yeah, so it's gonna be retrograde for a month. And now, Mercury retrograde is known for miscommunications, misunderstandings. So please mark your calendars. There will be many misunderstandings during that period. What else? So because it's in your 12th house, some secrets might emerge, or maybe like some hidden things. Yeah, working on hidden things, like fixing those, because Mercury retrograde is a time for revision. Another thing I need to mention is like Mercury retrograde is not a good time to buy new electronics. So those of you Libras who are thinking of going back to college, or your children going back to college or school, don't buy electronics in late August. If you can, try to buy those in early August while Mercury is still like direct, okay? But even if you have to buy in late August, make sure you buy insurance with it. or keep your receipt. And that way, if something goes wrong, you can have it replaced or fixed for free. Okay. Um, and also remember, Mercury retrograde is at its strongest, the most confusing phase, right when it turns retrograde, or like when it's about to turn direct. Yeah, so keep that in mind. On August 27th, Mars is going to enter Libra until October 12th. When Mars is in your first house, that makes you energetic, that gives you energy. So it's a good time to get things done. Okay, it's a good time to start working out if you have not been working out. I'm pretty sure Mars in your 12th house has been making you sleepy, but now when it enters your first house, it will give you energy. Yeah. So on August 28th, Uranus is gonna station retrograde until January 27th. Yeah, 2024. So it's gonna be retrograde. Now the reason why I'm mentioning this is that it's gonna join Venus, Mercury, Uranus itself, and then like Neptune and Pluto, all retrograde. So 5 planets will be retrograde by the end of August. And imagine, like 5 planets. That's like half of the solar system. So don't expect many things to happen at the end of August. It's not a good time to start anything new, because first of all, Venus is retrograde. It's not a good time to start anything new, even after the new moon in August. No, don't try. What else? When planets are retrograde, it's gonna feel as though everything is in slow motion. The progress is frustratingly slow. Imagine like when you're like this deep in water and you try to run underwater. It's slow, right? And it's exhausting. So that's how it's going to feel. So don't waste energy trying to start things, to like hurry things up. Instead, use this time to work on the things that are already in progress. It's a good time to make adjustments, to tweak things. I don't know if that's the right expression. English is not my native language, so but anyway, you get the idea. And but overall, though, when when Uranus is retrograde, we don't feel it that much. It's like an outer planet. It's not a very personal planet. It's retrograde for like half of the year almost, and also. And it's retrograde every year. It's not a rare retrograde like Venus retrograde. No. So, but you're not gonna feel that Uranus retrograde. It's gonna be very subtle. It doesn't mean nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, things are going to happen, but it's going to be very subtle. You have to be like super observant to notice that. And so Uranus is gonna be retrograding in your 8th house. So 8th house matters, like finances, shared resources, loans and stuff. Yeah. What else? And finally, on August 30th, we have a full moon in Pisces. This full moon will be illuminating your 6th house of work. Okay, the sun is gonna be in your 12th house, and it's going to be like. Wait, no. Why am I saying 12th house? Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. It is in your 12th house. So, in your 12th house, rest and work. Those 2 areas will be lit up, so you will be dealing with the questions of like work-life balance, I guess, like work-rest balance. Yeah, like, are you getting enough rest? Do you need to take time off from work? Yeah. And also, Pisces in the 6th house can mean like some project is gonna come to culmination. Like, yeah, you're gonna finish some sort of project at work, and that will allow you to rest. Okay, it could be one of the possible interpretations for this energy. Another interpretation could be is that because the 6th house is also the house of health, yeah, so health matters might force you to take a break. Okay, because the sun is in your 12th house. 12th house is a house of recuperation. Yeah, but hopefully your health will be in a good condition. Now, the thing about this full moon is that it's going to be conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Remember, Saturn is in the early degrees of Pisces, so it is a pretty tight conjunction. So normally during the full moon, especially in a water sign full moon, we are emotional. But Saturn this time is gonna restrict that. It's gonna like freeze the emotions, because Saturn rules winter. It's a winter sign. It's like it freezes things up. So I feel like the emotions at this full moon are gonna feel like snow. I mean, they are going to be there, but they're like frozen, because snow is technically water. It's just frozen. Yeah. Um, so expect to be emotional. It is a full moon after all. We are all emotional during full moons, but we're not gonna be like all over the place, like as in the August 1st full moon. Yeah. So I feel like we're gonna be more in control of our emotions on August 30th. Also, this full moon doesn't have that many harsh aspects, so it should be like slightly more calm than the other full moon. So this is it for Libras in August. As I said, you have Venus retrograde the entire month. Please keep in mind that Venus retrograde can make our self-esteem go down. Be aware of that, and so don't feel insecure, don't feel unloved, or feel like you're gonna be single forever. No, please don't feel that way. This is temporary. It's gonna Venus is gonna turn direct in September, so things should slowly start going back to normal in terms of like relationships and finances. And on a good note, we have a solar eclipse coming up in your sign in October, so that should be exciting. Big changes are coming up for Libras. So I hope you have a pleasant August, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you guys in September. Thank you for watching. Bye.